Hello and welcome back to the Offsite Construction Series. As you know, it's the last Tuesday of every month, and I get the opportunity to talk with so many amazing people. But the person that we have here today is Bob Kelly. Bob Kelly, I've met 4 years ago through Mark Willie in Chicago. He has a company called Wickright, and he is the CEO. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you again, Bob.
Oh, my pleasure. 100%. Thank you.
So we were kind of talking a couple of weeks ago, and we are obviously talking about water and water penetration and the things that happen inside buildings. So I'd love one for you to kind of explain a little bit more about your company, and then let's kind of dig into what you're seeing in not only Chicagoland area, but in building in general.
Okay. Okay. So I'll try to give you the condensed version because I could go on for a long time. So as a repair contractor, um, I used to do a lot of interiors, and I've got a cabinet shop, and I love restoring old Victorians, and I love the millwork and the structures and all that stuff, right? But when that work ran out, we started focusing on wet masonry buildings, and we would always discover water behind the roof membranes. So then I'd ask my friends who were very adept at this, German trained people and guys with tons of experience, why is there water behind the membranes at a roof connection where the roof connects to the parapet wall? And the answer I got time and time was because it is.
Such a good
So
answer, right? That's just how we do it. There's no other reason than that.
there's no other reason than that, right? So we were coming across buildings that had rotten plywood and some, compromised trusses because they're bearing in the masonry, just like a standard assembly as centuries have come and gone, and we've been doing it the same, right? So we started experimenting with venting these buildings, and basically if we separate the membrane from the thermal mass, which being the brick, then those materials which change temperature at a different rate with air that's always escaping from our interiors and water that's coming in from the outside, we needed to give it a chance to breathe. So I found that if I layer corrugated plastics or dimple mat behind these substrates, we're able to exhaust the water vapor. So now we have a solution for wet masonry buildings because vapor is always rising. So now fast forwarding to, that was in the last 10 years. And now in the past couple of years, we've been just discovering other issues with buildings and like how foam insulation has impacted the structures. The best way of saying it is that when buildings get tighter, then the need for accuracy and complete sealing is so critical. But there's nothing, we can't create a house that's perfect. We're humans and materials shrink. So like on this last job, we're trying to wrap up a project. We've been on this house, it's 9 years old now, for now 2.5 years. And what happened was that the stucco that was applied over the Tyvek on a 2x6 frame with open cell foam and plywood, when we were opening up the sunny side of the structure, and for crying out loud, all of the plywood was rotten. The rim joist of the TJIs was gone. And we even found like LVLs that were part of the structure that were completely eaten away. It didn't come back when we tested it. It didn't come back as mold. So I had no idea until I was sitting at lunch with a friend of mine who grows mushrooms for a living. And I showed him a picture of this growth, and he said, "That's a beautiful mushroom. Where did you find it?" Right? But the pictures are devastating. There's a crown, like a white crown of fungi. You can see where it's going almost. So anyway, that's one thing. But it's like I thought it was just from bad flashing details. So
Right.
like as we went around finally to the back side of the house where it was dark, and we started seeing the fungi only in areas where it was missing insulation. Pardon the dogs in the background.
I love it. Your dog's
So
hanging out with us.
so then as we're putting the house back together, something else came to light. we were using a high quality self-adhered house wrap with the 50 perm rating. And then the house wrap began to bellow out. So fortunately, I've been going to Joe Steverick's summer camp, and I met the research team from Prosoco. So the guy who invented the Cat 5, the fluid applied membrane, said that I have to seal every nail hole and every seam just from the moisture that could be getting out those little hot spots. Well, what wasn't said was it turns out those bellowing spots were from positive pressure from the HVAC system. So that took me down to a different path. Now I've been talking to like Zender with the last HVAC show in Chicago and some other manufacturers and supply houses, and come to find out that all these systems are all made to be the same way. So then I finally got the name of the place called the National Comfort Institute. And I told him about this problem that I suspected. He's said, yep, that's exactly what's going on. There's positive pressure. It's causing issues on the building envelopes, and they're trying to get the word out. So now I'm looking at new construction problems, and it's kind of rattles my cage to think that all these buildings that are being put up these days are all the same type: spray foam, wood construction. So I just consulted on 2 jobs yesterday and today. I'm telling these guys that they got to spray a fluid applied membrane on the inside of the wall cavities as a means to protect themselves from this event. So anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at with my bit.
How did it happen, Robert? What happened when you were explaining that to them? Were they understanding? Did they believe you? Like, what was the response?
Yeah, their jaw dropped.
Yeah, and
And
mine too. And for the audience, maybe everybody's not so technical in the building application, but when you have things like deterioration of a structural wall, that really affects the entire house and the building. It's not just, a wall system and something that can be repaired. You're talking structurally sound of your actual building, which is a really scary thing. I mean,
yeah,
right?
yes,
And then also the other thing that I love about Wickright and what you have done is you figure out a solution. Like you keep going and you keep unraveling the puzzle. And it's not just about the expansion, and it's not just about the amount of moisture that's coming in. It's a both. It's kind of like an expansion and a contraction, and then all these things that are happening, and every single building has it.
everyone, right. So yeah, it's getting more and more interesting, frankly. And so this helps to explain like the first part of our, I'd say the first part of this whole exploratory thing that we've been up to the last 10 years is trying to understand vapor path of masonry structures. And then, and then like how foam impacts a masonry building. It doesn't allow the building for 3-dimensional drying, for example. So when we vent the inside of a parapet wall, that communicates with the vapor open insulation all the way down to the foundation. So now the building has a chance to kind of dry out on the inside. And so we, like, for example, with our Wickright masonry structure repair business, we know where we can be successful and we know where we are going to fail. And so the failure point is actually when people use foam, it inhibits that ability. So we've got a couple other designs in the works to try to get some kind of convective flow on the outside of the structure, like turning it into a colander of sorts, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So so that's where I'm at with this business, and it's
Incredible.
learning more and more every day.
Yeah, and it keeps growing. And you were talking about that barrier system, and we were also talking about Anna White with intelligent membranes. You're
Mhm.
also working with that product. How has that been for the added solution?
It's I love it. It's I don't understand their technology except that
It works.
it's a smart membrane. It works, right? So I'm switching over all these applications. I'm using the brick seal. It's a water-based product that I put it on my own house, and it works beautifully. It's interesting. It comes out like a little bit of a paste, but it dries, but it's 99.9% vapor open.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And then on another project we have going on right now, we're rebuilding the front and back balcony of the cinder block building because water went through the capstones and got in there and rotted out all of the floor joists underneath the roof. So now that we're rebuilding it, we're using Intelligent Protect, the exterior product on the outside of the sheathing when you walk out from into these balcony areas. And that fluid applied is so much more effective than using a house wrap. Even the expensive materials that are out there, it's affordable, it's easy to apply. I mean, I can't say enough good stuff about it. And
And
then
and you're proving it, and you're already having great results from it. So it's not something that you're just talking about. It's actually proven.
it's proven. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it unless I've used it and tasted it and felt
I
it.
know, I know. That's why we like you, Bob. I know that you speak the speak, you walk the walk, and you also apply the product.
Yeah, thanks. Um, and I've been playing around with their window protection. Um, it's nice to keep the whole building protected and performing. So this particular project needed a combination of my Wickright venting for the masonry and the Intelligent Protect for the rest of the structure. And so now I can deliver a product that I never have to wake up thinking about.
That's so wonderful and great for the consumer or the building owner to know that they're protected and that they're not going to have these issues after they get it fixed. After they get
Right.
it fixed, right? Because many people probably go out there and think they're fixing it the right way, and then a couple of years later, they're still having the same issue.
When I take on a new client or when a new person calls me, um, I almost always spend an hour with these people.
Educate.
And what I do to educate them as
Hmm.
to why they're calling me, because I know that everybody's already spent about 30 to 50 grand before they call me.
Wow. Wow.
And I usually take them through the evolution of the manufacturing process of all these materials, because old lime mortars used to suck the water out of the wood and out of the brick and exhaust it out to the sky. But now we've got much harder substrates and harder mortars, and they're trapping moisture. I've got a video on YouTube that shows me drilling a hole into a split face block, and water comes squirting out of my face.
That's so insane. Oh my God.
That's happened more than once. So we've had to cover parapet walls in emergency rain because they couldn't stop the water. And when we drill holes to set the tap cons into the brick, you get splashed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, um, yeah, I'll just trying to deliver a good product.
I love it. So right now, you guys are just in the Chicagoland area. Are you at all in
Mhm.
Illinois? Like where's your market radius?
Our market right now is really been just Chicago,
Okay.
but people are starting to find us online. Diane, who works for me, has done a great job, getting a good SEO and developing these websites to serve the public. So yeah, we have a construction. I mean, I've been Wickright general contracting forever, but now we just started a new business called Wet Building Solutions because I'm just, people have to have a prioritized list of how to fix these buildings. So that's the direction that I'm going in right now.
I love
And
that.
then and
Saving
then
every building one at a time.
one at a time, right? Knock them down.
And good thing for Diane because we need to get more information out there, right? It's all about
Yeah,
education and using a proving system, and that's what you have definitely made happen.
it was worth it to scrape my knuckles a little bit.
I know it, and we're so grateful you did because not everybody knows about this. Nobody really thinks about it. And then, like
Mhm.
you said, once they're in 30, 40, $50,000 when their houses are deteriorating, they're like, where do we go? What do we do? How do we help others? So I love it, Bob. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, thanks, Audrey. Yeah, it's been interesting, but back to when I meet somebody, so I have to bring them through that education that the wood is that we're using is all tree farm lumber. So like you talk about offsite, you have to build offsite because the wood that we've got to choose from just doesn't have the tenacity to stay straight. I mean, literally the UV hits it, a little bit of rain hits it. Like if you don't build a house in a factory, you will not have a house that's going to perform properly. I'm 100% convinced of that.
And that's why we have you here. And that's why, Bob, you're the man. You're the man. I don't even have to talk about offsite. You're already delivering it. Well, it has been a complete pleasure talking to you again. I'm so glad we reconnected. I
Yeah,
love
likewise.
that your business is expanding. I love that you're also not only, doing your Wickright general contracting and helping buildings, but you're also found another solution with intelligent membranes to actually have another layer of protection that's going to make a difference.
Hmm. Yeah, it makes a difference. Well, so yeah, I really appreciate talking with you.
Likewise, and that's the dirt on Offsite Dirt. Make sure to check out Bob at Wickright. You can actually save your buildings and actually save the people inside of it to live healthier and a better life. Thanks, Bob.
Hmm. Absolutely.